Good news for the Ducks. The impact of the win over Penn State extends beyond just a 1 in the win column.
You are Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Oregon Ducks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, it is that time once again for Locked On Ducks. I'm your host, Spencer McLaughlin, and thank you all so much for making this your first listen or your first view of the day. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day and your number one source to stay up to date with the Ducks. Some roster comparison from last season to this season. Boy, this year looks really good. More moments from Penn State to relive, all on today's show, which is brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Like Oregon's players, they sweat every detail at Mazda because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward Mazda Move and Be Move. Brian Smith, longtime recruiting analyst, host of the Portal podcast here at the Locked On Network, is back. Brian, we usually talk every week for many, many months, and then all of a sudden we have games to talk about, and the recruiting news is secondary. It's not quite as big. It doesn't go away, as you know, talking about it every day on your show, but I was thinking about this earlier this week, and I texted you to come and do this segment because I thought, man, I feel like when you win at Penn State, it's got to have some kind of recruiting impact, right? You've covered this sport and recruiting for a very long time. When you win this type of game, what can that mean for the results on the trail?
That can mean you can gain fans that turn into prospects who eventually enter your roster. This is how teams like Miami made their hay back in the day. Teams like Penn State made their day. They won on the road. It's one thing to win at home. Hodson's awesome, by the way. But going into somebody else's house and winning has an extra oomph. And they were up. I mean, they should have won big, and Oregon let them back in. But then they stung them in overtime. Like the way they took them into overtime. And I think that has a little extra, too. By the way, Drew Aller is the definition of non-clutch. Just want to throw that in there. But
I didn't say it. That was Brian.
Yeah. And it's still true either way.
We're all just thinking it.
But Oregon, back to the point, is going to get recruits, not necessarily just 26, but this is a long-term thing. There'll be a kid 5 years from now that's going to say on my show, your show, both, I remember when Oregon went to Penn State. That's how this stuff starts, legitimately. Road game victories have an extra cachet to them. The Ducks just got it. Congrats to them.
Yeah, no, I was also thinking during the game about Brandon Finney and how, how good is that guy, man? He's something else. And, that's one of those moments that I think about a lot because it almost feels like I have two different shows that I do here at Locked On Ducks. There's the recruiting show and then there's the football show. And yes, there's a correlation between the two, but a lot of the guys that Oregon recruits from the high school ranks aren't going to make a major impact right away. Now, we're seeing that a lot with this year's recruiting class, of course, but there can often be kind of a wait, kind of a long payoff, if you will. Think of a guy like Amari Washington, who, look, I am chair of the Amari Washington fan club and have been for many, many months. That's a class of 2023 recruit. And he's just now, he made an impact last year, no doubt, but he is a starter, all-conference caliber guy in his third year of college football. That's what I mean between the disconnect of it's a much more futuristic kind of look. At least that's the way it feels to me doing the show in the offseason of, boy, they're set up well for this, they're set up well for this. But then you look at this roster, Brian, for Oregon, and the 2025 class is everywhere. You've got DeCorian Moore, you have got Brandon Finney out there making an impact. They're all over the field. And I think that the way that it has paid off over the last couple cycles for the Ducks in this spot is a testament to what Dan Lanning has done in not just recruitment, but also retention of that talent, because some of those guys have had to wait their turn, like Aaron Flowers had to wait a year. I bet you there were teams he could have played for as a true freshman last year. He's all over the field making tackles for this Oregon team. That's just how it comes off to me when I see these recruits make an impact right away. Man, Usually younger guys have to wait a little bit, but as Dan Lanning also says, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
I think that there's a certain running back from the state of Illinois that's a pretty good.
De'Aaron Hill is awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got things he can learn, maybe be a little more patient or whatever, but he's got zip. That first step, thumbs up, brother. I don't know exactly why he wasn't ranked higher. I remember watching him. I thought he was pretty good. I didn't know he was this good, but like he didn't get any national buzz in the recruiting ranks. I mean, he was still ranked fairly high, but nobody said he's going to be a top 5 guy. Like he's got to be one of the top 5 freshman running backs in the country, right? Like
I don't know. I don't know that you can name me 4 freshman running backs that are better than him. He was, according to 24/7 composite, he was the number 8 running back in the class, number 150 player nationally. And I mean, that's pretty good, but I think he's outperforming even that ranking at this point.
I mean, the guys, like the running back they got from California, they use as their short yardage guy.
Davison, yeah.
He was supposed to be the guy, and I loved him. I saw him at Under Armour, and I thought he was really good. But he's not as good. Like Hill is the juice.
Yeah,
he's the one that when he's in the lineup, you've got to he's over there. You know, you got to look at it a little differently. And when you have players like that, the defenses have to scheme different. Yeah, that's just another point of how well they're recruiting. There's a guy at just about every spot. I mean, Sadiq gets like all the reps at tight end because there's nobody else like him.
Right.
But outside of that, name a spot the Ducks don't have a freshman that's at least contributing. Like it's pretty ridiculous. Like quarterback is its own entity.
Yeah, quarterback's its own thing. I mean, yeah, you've got wide receiver, you've got running back, offensive line. I don't think you have a major contributor, right? You have some guys who have gotten
experience, though.
They've got a lot of experience there. Defensive line is mostly veterans. You know, you've got Aiden Breland in there, who's a second-year player. I think he redshirted a season ago. But again, that group is a lot of guys like Amari Washington that were a part of that initial haul of recruits, and it's been kind of a long payoff, and it's a really awesome thing to see for the way the staff has recruited, retained, and developed talent. And then you're seeing that on the field on Saturdays right here, right now, and Oregon's one of the best teams in college football at the moment as a result of it. And Sadiq's another guy that goes back to the point I was making earlier. I know you had kind of a look of consternation as I was explaining that point, but like, you know, Sadiq did some things as a true freshman. He did more as a sophomore, but still not a ton. And now he is one of Oregon's primary receiving targets. It's just those sorts of guys. And, you know, what you're saying is going forward, you can build those sorts of moments in guys' heads to think about, do I want to go to Oregon? Oh, I remember when they did this. Oh, that's cool. So you're talking 2026, 27, but I feel like it could go even beyond that for Oregon on the trail.
Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate national recruiting program, partially because they need to be, but I also think landing in that group just like going into other people's backyards and taking players. I really do, because like, especially like Penn State in areas like that, that's not easy, and they're doing it. They're doing it consistently. So now you can say we just went there and won. They recruit Philly hard, Pittsburgh, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia. Even if it's just one more player a year, Spencer, that matters. I mean, that could be your next
Brandon Finney.
He's Maryland, if I remember right. So
I think Penn State was after him hard. He's from that northeast quadrant of the U.S. And one guy, you know, sometimes that's going to turn into a Justin Flo, and sometimes that's going to turn into a Brandon Finney, who is right here, right now, looking like a bona fide star at corner. I want to throw this one at you as well, Brian, because I got this question from one of my listeners out there about Oregon on Sunday this week could have 4 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I believe they're going to. Dylan Gabriel's going to start for the Browns over Shedeur Sanders, which pretty hilarious, but awesome. Love that for Dylan Gabriel. Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, and then Mariota is Jaden Daniels' backup, and he's still hurt, I believe. When you have a moment like that and a stat that is 100% going to get thrown around on NFL broadcasts this week, is that a recruiting tool for Oregon staff in a big way? Or is it just kind of like, oh, yeah, you can throw this thing? Or does that start to kind of build a brand and identity in a serious way of, hey, is Oregon kind of QBU over here with 4 starters in the NFL, and they've all been drafted within the last 10 years?
I think it's going to help them a lot. Yeah, because if you don't use that as a recruiting tool, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why would you not? This is the forest for the trees here, Spence. If I had 4 guys in the league, and Dan had nothing to do with Mariota, obviously, but it's still, he wore the O. It's pretty straightforward. And the last one, who's already starting, he's the one who brought him to Eugene. So why not? I mean, Herbert, that's one of the best players in the world. There's a lot to like about that. And by the way, quarterback's important. I would use that tool 100%.
Yeah. And by the way, Dante Moore right now, how does he, like, in what world is he not going to get drafted in the first round one day if he keeps playing like this?
He's going to get drafted in the first round of the 2026 draft.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about coming in. I know that's what I was worried. I don't think it's a guarantee with NIL, because Oregon probably go to him and say, we'll give you $4 million, $5 million to come play quarterback for the Ducks for one more year, and maybe that'd be enough to entice him. I think
first round pick though, that's pretty rough.
It is. Yeah, that's a pretty game-changing moment. As much money as Oregon could offer, if you were a top 5 pick at quarterback, that's a lot. But if Oregon has that special season they're looking for this year, I don't think Duck fans would care quite as much. I think they'd be more stoked for him, but I think the worst-case scenario is you don't get to the pinnacle, and then Dante Moore goes to the NFL drafts.
That's possible, but like I told you before the show, my pick is the Ducks to win it now. So
I would never utter those words into a microphone, lest I be accused of being the greatest jinx of all time. But I'm
Brian's not a Ducks fan. I'm just saying.
He's just watching football over there. Neutral arbiter, one could say. Brian Smith, the Portal Podcast, Locked on Seminoles as well. Talk about the roster, talk about more moments from the Penn State game. A lot more to get to on today's show.